Well, hello everybody. How you doing? Dave Fennoy here, and it's another episode of Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. Sitting here in my studio office, home gym, and whoa, live studio stop. There was an error publishing video. Okay, wait a minute. We'll try again. Okay. Raspberry. Okay, take two. Had a little technical difficulty there. Everything just stopped. So I hope we're working now. It says Dave Fennoy is live. And you can let me know if Dave Fennoy is live. I don't see anybody coming up. Ordinarily that. Oh, here we go. There's Angelique. How you doing? Isa. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Had a little technical problem there. I don't know what the hell happened. Wasn't on this side for a change, and believe me, I can make mistakes technologically with technology. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Michael Glover, how you doing? Lisa Tillis, Conchita, how are you? Mark Fisher, Thomas, of course. Carla, what's happening? Going on there, girl? Let's talk voiceover. Let's get your questions in. I mentioned in the comment I made along with the video, reminding you that I was going to be here today, that a lot of times we have questions that, one, we don't want people to know that we need to ask, and two, that we don't really think of until we're in the middle of doing something, and gosh, I wonder if I could do this. So I'm going to cover a couple of things that just off the top of my head that may help some people out. First of all, nobody knows everything about anything. So don't feel ignorant or you're going to feel foolish if you ask something that you think you ought to know, but so much time has gone by and you don't know, and you're going to think people are going to think badly of you if you don't. I guarantee you there'll be a bunch of people who have the same question. Despite the fact that I'm here saying, ask Dave Fennoy anything, I don't know everything. I'm fairly good with my studio, but I get help. I ask advice from other voice actors, from engineers, to make sure that my sound chain is up and running the way it's supposed to be. Sometimes when things go wrong, I can sometimes put it back together myself, but sometimes I need help. So don't feel bad about that, especially these days when we have to be so many things when we are voice actors. Not only do you have to, be a good voice actor, hopefully cover a variety of genres, but now you have to have your own studio. And what do? I get questions all the time, and I'm sure many of you who've been working for a while, and even some who haven't, are getting questions from your friends. Well, what kind of microphone do you use? What kind of interface do you have? Do you have a channel strip? Are you in the closet? Do you have all those kinds of things? Nobody knows all the answers. I've learned a lot just because I've been doing it a long time. Now, the other thing, those are the questions that I don't know if I want to ask that. People are going to think I'm stupid. The questions that you don't think of sometimes to ask, that kind of pop into your mind when you're recording, and they're the little things that maybe you don't think of. One of the things when I'm teaching private students, I remind them that words on a page are the best approximation of human speech that the writer has. But it's not for us to accurately portray what the writer wrote. It's for us to take the ball and run with it. The words on the page, here, take these words, do something with them, make them special, make them yours, make them real. Because words on the page are not speech. Very good writers write very good dialogue, but it's up to us to bring the humanity to the words on the page. And when I say that, the kinds of things I'm talking about are breaths, sighs, pauses, time to think about what you're saying, reaction to a person you're talking to, even though you may not hear that person speak. In real life, we're talking to somebody, we say ABC, and we'll see a look on their face like, what? Or, ah. And we react to that, and how the next few words, the next sentence comes out is based on their reaction to what we said before. All too often, especially cartoons, video games, and even commercials, we don't allow for ourselves to imagine what the reaction is and respond to it. Every voiceover, this is Dave Fennoy philosophy, every voiceover is a conversation. And you want to leave that time for, when I say the time, might be a millisecond, for the person you're talking to react. And you want to respond. Sometimes you're responding to yourself. You ever notice you will say ABC, and because you've said ABC, now you realize, oh, I need to explain that. So you expand on the ABC, and then based on who you are and maybe what your insecurities are, you want to explain that I really didn't mean this, I meant that. It's because we're human, and those are the kinds of things that we have to bring to our dialogue, to our voiceover work. And anyway, I'm rambling. Let's see if we have any questions. Lay some wisdom on us. Every day is a learning process. And you know what? I'll ramble just a little bit longer. Never get to the point that you don't think, never get to the point that you think you know it all, or there's nothing else to learn. If you really want to stay fresh in this business or any other, stay curious. Open yourself up to the possibility that you don't know it all, to the possibility that despite the fact that you've been working a lot and do well, that you can still be better, that there are some other areas of voiceover work and your work, that some other corners that you can get into and find some more meat. Keep that possibility open for yourself. All right. My new demos were produced without a slate on them. Should I put slates on them before I present them to agents? No. No. When you say a slate, hi, this is Michael Glover, and this is my new demo. No, you don't need that. You're going to send them an email with your demos. It's going to be a nice little short cover letter, and they'll click on it, and away you go. Okay. Oh, Lori, that's so sweet of you. Some other no. You're listening, but you're not asking. Good to see you. Hey, Galena, I saw a picture of you and an unsuited J. Michael Collins today. I said, wow, I've never seen J. Michael without a suit on. I've seen him without a tie, but never without a jacket and suit pants. So I don't know what you did, Galena, to get him so casual. But when I looked at the picture, wow, that looks like J. Michael Collins. But no, he wouldn't be wearing just a shirt. Anyway, so what's on everybody's mind? What are you doing for the summer? Maybe you can just share with me that. Who's bought a new microphone? What did you buy? Who's up their ante in their studio in some other way? What happened to you on a gig that you found really interesting? Come on, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Let's see, what has happened to me kind of interesting. This is the time of year that it's kind of quiet. I still get to work, thankfully. We all want to know that phone is ringing, or the emails are coming in, or however it is we're hearing from our agents or our clients that need us. But I've got some nice things pending. I hope they come through. through. Let me ask you about this. Since we're all on Facebook, when you see some of your friends post that they've got this job or that job, or they're at this studio or that studio, are you rooting them on, or are you a little bit jealous? I think sometimes we can be so happy for ourselves and the jobs that we get. I think sometimes we can go overboard with how much we're showing off what we're doing. Someone may feel that way about me from time to time. I know there have been some others. Usually, for me, how I feel about it is, I wonder if other people are feeling some kind of way about this person doing that. Generally, I think it's a good idea. Let people know you're living your best life. You're doing some work, especially when you're somebody that is a giver in that. But be careful of going to the point of just kind of bragging. I have seen that happen. I saw once a friend of mine started posting pictures of checks. And I thought, oh, that's not good. We want to let the world know we're doing good things. But I don't think we want to, start showing off checks, and you can go too far. That's all I'm saying. Marcio Catalano, but I know it all. Well, no, I guess that's why I'm on here listening, sharpening the saw. Okay. Oh, Thomas. Thomas is always so good about getting a question in. How could I have missed this last week? Miss a little, miss a lot. Thank you for such wisdom today. Subscribe to the Sergeant Schultz dogma. I know nothing. The exception is what I've been sharing. Can you say what you have coming out soon? I've got a bunch of things coming out game-wise that I cannot mention, unfortunately. I wish I could. It's going to be some fun stuff. Wow, Joshua Nicholson. I bought a Neumann TLM 49. Classic sound. I don't hear of many people picking up 49s or many of the other older microphones. What seems to be the most popular, of course, U87, the 103, that nice little 102 that they have now. I have a TLM 170 that you don't see a lot, but great little microphone, very flat response. Let's see. Joshua, what do you like about the TLM 49? What sold you on it? I had somebody ask me the other day, and while he's getting that answer, and I'm going to be looking through, which would be a better microphone for a gaming company, a 416 or a TLM 103, Sennheiser 416, the Neumann? And my answer was, well, either one's going to work great, but because of the kind of work he was saying they were going to be doing, I said, well, I'll lean just a little bit towards the TLM 103, but just a little. Sometimes we're just way too concerned about this mic or that mic. If you've got a decent mic, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. Some mics you have to be careful of because they're not going to work as well in some situations as others. Case in point, probably the world's most famous mic, the Neumann U87. It likes a big room. If you put it in a small room, it's not going to sound like you expect it to sound. And most of us in our home studios, I've got a nice size booth. It's a 5x7 whisper room. That U87 does not sound good in there. Now, the 103, the TLM 103 has the same capsule. Sounds great. But right now, I've got my 416 hung, and it stays hung up there a lot. And it's usually between those two, the 103, the 416, even though I got a bunch of other mics that I can't understand why I keep buying. Let's see. A rising tide raises all boats. Well, that's what they keep saying. For me, unless the tide rises too much and then it floods everything in it. For me, I'm always rooting them out, but I also wonder if there's something that they did that I can replicate in my own business practices. Oh, wait a minute. I missed something there. What was I? What are you responding to? Okay, JDK, changing my studio from a MacBook Pro to a Mac Mini. Last night, my latest video game trailer was released. All right, congratulations. You know, way to go, DJ K. One of the things I love about this business and the people in it is we do cheer each other on. And I know just a little bit ago I was talking about maybe sometimes we're posting too much about, hey, I booked this and I booked that and I did this and I did that. Because some people may feel a little, hey, come on, man, you're rubbing it in my face. I haven't booked anything in a couple of weeks. But I like the fact that we cheer each other on. I don't mean to suggest people should not post their good news. Just don't go so far as to, hey, look at all the money I'm making. All right, Tansy, have some decorum. Yes, that was a very good way to put it. Conchita, my question is a little different. Well, what is it, Conchita? Hey, Janet, how are you? Adrian Flores, hey, Dave, my first time on. Is VO more of a level playing field for African-American talent? I was a TV anchor reporter, was a constant struggle. Whew. Well, you know, it's a different business now than it once was. I think the doors are more open for black people and other people of color and accents and whatnot than it once was. You know, when you look at the news and, you know, who's in office and, you know, just the blatant racism there, it can be very worrisome. For a number of reasons. When I look at what has happened to the Republican Party and the fact that they will not call out this man for his racism, and they'll even say, oh, it's not racist. And in the meantime, what he has said is boilerplate racism over the years. You know, when the Irish came, Irish need not apply. When the Italians came, those slimy Italians. Go back to where you came from. It's boilerplate racism. We'll relate this back to VoiceOver. If people are afraid to stand up and hire who they want to hire and be seen with whoever, if they're not willing to stand up for you because they are afraid of what will happen to them, then yeah, it can be a little difficult for us. But at the same time that I'm seeing that happen, which is a little scary, when you look at the history of Germany leading into the Nazi Party, that we are on a parallel course. By the same token, society-wise, the rest of it seems like most people these days are very open to whatever. We want to live our best life. And we are happy to celebrate other people living their best life, whether it's our lifestyle, whether it's our religion, whether it's our sexual orientation or not. Most of the people I know in VoiceOver, very open. We don't care. You do your thing, I'm doing my thing. And as long as we are not stepping on each other's toes, why not? Why not? Life is hard enough without having other people try to tell you you're living a life that is an abomination to them and therefore you must stop. And I got way off track there, Adrian. It's much more of a level playing field now. Doesn't mean it's perfect. In the last couple of years, or a number of video games that were hiring white women to play black women roles, and when it was pointed out, some of the excuse, oh, we couldn't find any, and that's just not true. That's just not true. If you're looking for a particular kind of talent, at black, Latin, Asian, whatever, they're there. They're out there. You can find them if you really want to. Keep knocking on the doors, though, and keep showing up and being very good. And you know, you're going to get yours. But my mother's words still ring in my mind. Son, you're going to have to work twice as hard to get half as much. Don't let that be an excuse for failure. Yeah. Carl, you are absolutely right. Aaron Coolidge joined. Hey, Veronica Dillard, what's going on? I'm reading and hearing a lot of talk about AI, VO. Are there opportunities there, AI and VO? Do they compete or complement each other? How does it fit with VO? What's your take? I think artificial intelligence is going to take a lot of jobs in voiceover. And also, at the moment, AI is also offering a lot of jobs in voiceover because what they have to do is sample voices, and I have to raise my hand and say, yeah, I did it. I'm one of the Google voices, and I spent a couple weeks recording all kinds of information and some nonsense that a computer is going to, well, a computer already has taken. So you can choose various Google voices. You can choose mine. I think it's a middle-aged black guy. And now they can have my voice say anything. But what they can't do is have your voice be a real human voice. It may sound like a human voice, but it's always going to be a little stilted. It's not going to have the kinds of full emotional reactions that we have. They've added some laughter and surprise sounds and whatnot. It'll never be the same. So where I see AI taking some jobs from us will be in very informational voiceover. Telephony, which is already what it is, and just information, asking questions. You may find when you're online trying to get some information or instructions on how to put such and such together, that may be a voice that is an AI. I don't see it happening in good commercials, TV promos, in narration that needs a soul. Definitely not in video games. We'll have some AIs that, you know, we're voicing. I don't see it taking over. That said, outside of voiceover, AI is going to take over a lot of jobs. Over the next, 5-10 years, we're going to see more and more cars and trucks, self-driving. The transportation industry is going to lose lots and lots of drivers. Manufacturing, I think, is going to lose lots and lots more workers. And a lot of jobs that are just informational. People are going to be out of work because the AIs are getting smarter and smarter and smarter and will be able to do more and more. So just, look out. It's coming. Rama Rodriguez, what's going on, man? Auditioned for Midsummer Night's Dream and landed a role. Hey! Never done stage before. Should be fun. And you're doing Shakespeare, actually. And everybody should do Shakespeare once. At least once. To understand why we still talk about Shakespeare. Because Shakespeare, perhaps more than almost any other writer, is so human. The experiences of the characters, of the stories, of the comical characters in his stories, the language, how the language is put together. Good stuff. I'm still waiting on George the Tech Whittam to finish playing with my Townsend Lab Sphere L22. So that's still my newest mic. Okay, well, I hope when he's finished playing with it and you get it back, you'll love it. And for those of you who don't know George the Tech Whittam, George has been around doing studios for voiceover actors for 20 years. He's done some very big studios, some very small studios. He's a good person to know, good guy. And if you're trying to put your studio together and you don't have the background knowledge to do it, George is one of the people to go to help you with that. Joshua Nicholson, the warmth it added to my voice compared with the Shure KSM 44 I was using. Yeah, Shure makes great mics for some things. I'm never really happy with Shure mics for VoiceOver. I know there's some people who love them. I don't, and I think almost any other condenser you got would have given you a lot more warmth than the Shure KSM44. Anyway, yes, I am live, Betsy. Thomas again. I was in a musical in a full cast audio production that we later did on stage at Here Now, the Audio Fiction and Arts Festival. Okay, cool. How many of you have an acting background? One of the things that will serve you the best in this business is an acting background. People, and not to keep my students from continuing to come, but one of the best things you can do, aside from, specifically taking voiceover classes, is to take an acting class, take an improv class. Those are two things that'll really help you. Don't have to, take the acting class with the idea that you're going to get on stage and come with this spin. But you'll learn some things about the techniques of acting and the background of acting. When I'm teaching my workshop, Voice Acting for Video Games, in the PDF and the small print, and I always say, look, I want you to read the small print. Nothing that I'm teaching here is new, except that it is specifically designed to overcome the unique challenges of voice acting for video games. And those challenges, of course, are we don't have another actor that we're playing off of. We're not in costume. We don't have blocking. We may not have even the dialogue that we are interacting with, if there's any dialogue at all. And we have to stay on mic no matter what the action is, unless you've got one of those little theater mics. And we're reading words as opposed to them being available to us in our mind. And that process of seeing and reading takes a little brain power. And the larger percent of brain power you're using trying to read the words correctly, the less brain power you have, the less freedom you have to be the character that you're trying to play. So we have to invent it all up here. Anyway, Aaron Spurlock, the VO community is very tight-knit. It feels that way. It is that way. Congratulations, nothing like a live audience. Dig that. We don't care, Pansy. We don't care. What is it we don't care about, Pamela? Doug Perryman, what's up? Len Gallagher, Stefan Johnson, how are you? But we love each other. There we go. And some of this makes sense when I'm just reading these because, some of it's disjointed, but that's okay. It's put the pieces together. Careful, Dave, your humanity is showing. Thank you for that. My humanity should show. All of our humanity should show. And if your humanity shows in your work, you book more. We want to, when you're working, the people we hear that we like, they're connecting here and here. You got to connect to people's brains and their hearts. That is the business. And when you're somebody that does that, you're going to work. My question, I'm reading and hearing a lot of, that was back then. Huh. Okay. Or black playing with women like Ashley in Mass Effect. Yeah, there you go. Noticing the affectations instead of the 405, we hear a 405 glitch, constant changes in punctuation. Herb, I'm not sure what that's. Oh, yo, Big Dad, blessings always, yeah. What is that? What are you saying there? Sometimes we're typing fast and, you hit something and it's, what is that? An AI, I mean. Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. Oh, yeah, when I'm driving and I have my guidance system on, and, because we've got Waze and we've got Maps and we've got Gmail or Google. and they all have different voices, and you can pick men or women or whatever. It's always funny to me when they're mispronouncing the names of streets and whatnot, because, you know, when the first time you hear, oh, what's wrong with them? And you realize, oh, this was somebody in New York or wherever who voiced this, who doesn't know how things, you know, the first time you saw Sepulveda, Coanga. I mean, did you know how to pronounce it? Yeah, didn't think so. Don't expect AI voices to sound like Cortana from Halo anytime soon. Well said. Carla, we have to resist talking to machines. We have to insist on talking to a human being that can think critically, something a machine can do. Unfortunately, Carla, you're talking about a juggernaut that has sailed. We are not going to be able to turn back that clock. Be very careful of becoming the curmudgeon that does not continue to go on the ride the rest of the world is on. AI is going to be here. It is not going to go away. It's going to be there. Sooner or later, you too, Carla, are going to be talking to an AI. I don't have one in my house yet, but sooner or later, you're going to be talking to some little device that's on your desk or built into something. You're going to find that they are going to have enough conveniences. They're showing us on television now how convenient it would be. Here, Grandpa, look at this. And now Grandpa, oh yeah, play that song and do this. And they make it very cute, and it's coming. It's going to be here. Remember the people that, oh, why should I have a phone right here, man? I wait till I get home and make that call. Well, they all have phones now. We will all be using AI some way, somehow, if not already, in the very near future. And I agree with you. We do have to, as a society, really think about how we're going to use it and how much we're going to let it affect us as human beings. We're still going to talk to one another. And as a voice talent, you're still going to have to express your humanity. But there are going to be some things, just informational, what's the weather today, how's traffic, those kinds of informational things that AIs are going to do. They're gonna be talking to us about a lot of things. A lot of information that we might have read is going to be said to us. Questions that we might have typed, we're going to say, and we're going to get a response that we might have read. Something a machine can't do. Well, there's a lot of things a machine can't do, baby. That's right. Of course, they are coming up with those anyway. Are you still working with that blue raspberry for this broadcast? I am. Is it sounding okay? Oh, I expected an answer. Yeah, there it is. That's the little blue raspberry. Nice little mic. It and the Apogee iPad mic about on the same level. Galena, you have a theater background. I do too, and I think it served me well. I didn't realize it when I started VoiceOver that it was going to serve me. Because I spent so much time in radio after that. Was a child actor, theater major in college, and quit, went on the road as a musician, went back, finished in music, played for a while, realized wasn't going to grow up to be a rock and roll star after all, went into radio, did that for 10 years or so, and then discovered VoiceOver. And the fact that I had a theater background so many years ago really helped when it was time to get rid of that voiceover with that radio voice. And so many of us who have spent some time in radio or old school voiceover, you worked on that voice. You wanted to make sure that you were saying everything clearly, and then to come to find out that, oh no, I'm sorry, we don't want to hire that guy. And I have friends that have a real hard time getting past that. Hey, Josh, yeah. Degree in acting and directing. Your lighting is really good, Dave Fennoy. Sound good too, but your lighting shows in a great light. Okay, I'll take that. Thank you. Love improv classes. I would take more if I had time. One of the things you want to be able to do is let your mind be free. I don't think many of us are going to get to the level of improv as some of our great comedians, Robin Williams, that those synapses were just firing. But you want to be able to think on your feet. And one of the things that happens is when you're in that studio and you're concerned, and I'm reading these words, or I'm in this cartoon, or I'm doing this partner read, or just a read, and now they're, oh yeah, if you just want to ad lib some stuff, that's great. And instead of, oh no, pressure, what we should do is like, oh boy, oh, they don't know what they asked for. I had an audition just the other day, and this was it a cartoon or was it a video game? I can't remember which it was. But at the end of the character, I think it was a cartoon, they wanted me to ad lib. They gave me a subject, this happens, ad lib something about that. If you are all caught up and tied up in your thoughts and feelings, and this has to be perfect, it's going to be really hard to do, and it's going to be stiff, probably won't be funny. So we want to get to that point where we are relaxed and we're enjoying what we're doing, because this is so much fun, and allow your synapses to go. And part of that is freeing your brain from all the, oh God, I got to get this right, and that word's coming up, and this is happening, and oh geez, my voice sound good. You want to get rid of all that. You want to get rid of all that. I'm taking acting classes from Peter Spellos and hope to start jumping into the improv soon as well. Excellent, Thomas. Excellent. No, there, another one. Kevin Porter's my acting coach. You know what? I haven't worked with Kevin Porter, but I have heard really good things. Herb Merriweather, clearly, exactly. He agrees with me, whatever it was I said. When I heard you were with your grandkids, touched my heart. Good for you, sir. I'll bet you are a cool grandpa. I am the coolest grandpa in the world. And it's only one. Only got one grandkid. He's 5 years old. And he's swimming right now. He's having a great time. And when I flew to New York last Friday, got to my daughter's and son-in-law's place at midnight, got up in the morning, had some breakfast. He went to a swim class. Then we went to the airport and flew off. And he was crying like a little, his mom was in the car when he went to the airport. Dad came in with me, and so we were under security. He was, Dad, oh no, I don't want to cry, I don't want to cry. And this went on for 10, 15 minutes. And his father, come on, Z, you got to be brave, and you're going to have a good time. And he thought, okay. As soon as we turned the corner, and they looked at our passports, and we were about to take our shoes off. No, we didn't have to take it. I got TSA pre. But we put our bags on the conveyor belt. Suddenly he was okay, and he's been okay ever since. Spent Sunday at Legoland, and wow. Anyway, that was an aside I hadn't planned on. Yeah, AI is the future. It's not the whole future, but it's definitely the future. Do you mind sharing gaming audition tips, please? No, I don't at all. Now, I do a whole 2-day workshop on that. And as I recall, Galena, weren't you in? No, you took a 1-day workshop. Couple things, and a lot of this will carry over into other genres of voiceover. Auditioning is how we get the job for everything. So your best chance to book that job is really understanding what the game is. So is it post-apocalyptic, dark? Is it, adventure, buddy adventure game? Is it sword and sorcery? Find out what the style of the game is, because that's going to bring a certain energy to your read one way or the other. Then find out who your character really is. And depending on the depth of the emotional responses that these characters have to have, will tell you that. I mean, there's going to be some games, some characters that all we need to know is this character is, 45, tough, militaristic, suave with the ladies, and likes a good fight. But we don't need to know about his relationship with his mother or what happened when he was a little child to make him like this, because it's just not that deep. Other times we really do need to know how deep it goes, and really what this character loves and doesn't love, and the things that happened to them in their past that makes them who they are now, because those buttons are going to be pushed, and we need to know how to push those buttons. So know our character, know how deep we have to go with a character. And for every scene, what's the pre-life? What just happened that your character is saying or doing what your character is saying or doing? And then for every scene, what's your character thinking? What's your character feeling? What's your character doing? Who's your character talking to, and what's that relationship? And visualize the scene in your mind. Visualize the action. It's starting here. It's moving over here. He's talking to a person over there. What's the condition of your character? He's feeling wonderful. Oh, he's sleepy. Oh, he's actually doing some work and he's distracted while he's talking to somebody. All of those kinds of things that we often forget because we're just looking at the words on the page. And the words are only the beginning. Allow the rest of humanity to come through your character. People pause in places they ordinarily wouldn't pause. You see a sentence, it starts here, it ends here, and you think, oh, I got to go from here to here. No. Do you think about breathing when you're talking? No, you don't. And all too often you start a sentence and there's a pause in it someplace in the middle, and it sounds natural because that's how we talk. We don't know exactly what we're going to say when we open our mouths. We open our mouths, and then sometimes we have to reach for the words. You're talking to somebody, and you're going to criticize them in some way, and you're looking for the right word to say. Your little insert the word you were thinking there, or your whatever it is. Bring all of that humanity to it. It's not just the words; it's everything that's behind them. Rama Rodriguez, AI works for Captain Picard. LOL. Ha ha ha. What's the next demo you are updating? Actually, I've been thinking about that. I was thinking about doing a video game demo. Yeah, right, I know. But not one that I have pulled from characters that I've played that are available on YouTube. I was thinking of doing one kind of as a demonstration for people of what I think a good demo would sound like, would be like, if you didn't have so many things to pull from that were already done. So keep listening. Janet Pina, I know nothing. I stay curious. I'm getting there. Thanks to you and your advice last week. I've stopped the sing-song reads and slowed down and stopped the over-enunciating words. Took you to tell me. Thanks, Dave. Going to start sending more narration. I'll just sending more narration. I think I'll get. Yeah, you have a great voice, Janet. And that one narration that I heard from you was just wonderful. And partially because you weren't doing that much. You just let it happen. Sometimes I liken what we do in VoiceOver to playing a sport. And I play tennis, and I was having a conversation with my tennis coach one time. We were doing an exercise. I was hitting forehands. And, I'd hit 10 or 12 forehands, and 6 of them would be perfect. And then I'd start spraying balls into the net or wide or long. And I said, listen, I hit 6 of them great. How come, these other 6 went every which way? And he said, you just haven't hit enough balls. And sometimes we just have to continue to do it and get a comfort level. It's like learning to play music. You're learning those scales, don 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 don, until you can do da 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 do do da 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 do 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 do. Sometimes it's a matter of practice, of doing, of losing that mental state of, oh boy, am I doing this right? Oh, I'm watching the words. That little voice up here that's listening and judging. When that voice is too loud, it gets in our way, and what we hear is the listening and the judging, which is one of the reasons you're doing commercials and you maybe you don't eat at McDonald's, but you got a McDonald's audition to do. You got to address that with yourself. You've got to go, okay, you know what? I'm giving myself permission to sell this product that I don't eat because part of what I do or what my job is in this case is to help the economy, help this particular client bring in business. By helping them, I help me, and I am going to substitute that Big Mac for something that I do eat that I like, so I can actually sound like I'm into it. Guilty as charged, Radio Mount. Thanks for working with me on that. Herb Merriweather, Brittany George, what's going on? DK Voices, Ryan Everly. Hi, Dave. Hey, Ryan. Nick Wired. Dave, what do you do when you don't feel in the zone during a read? Do you have any tricks or hacks to recenter yourself? Wow. You know, I'm in the zone sometimes and sometimes I'm not. I think there are points where you just have to bring professionalism to it, experience to it. Sometimes you're not feeling well, but I think of an old Ben Franklin quote, the work of the world is mostly done by people who don't feel very. Sometimes you just have to get your stuff together. We've all been in that case. So often we don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. We have to live out of our word, out of our commitments, and not out of our feelings. Sometimes that's it. You just have to get it together. I guarantee you, if this is what you do every day, you're not going to feel great every day. Your voice isn't going to be at its peak every day. Get over it. One of the things I have learned, especially since I do a lot of video games and often my voice is hacked up, that it really isn't about my voice. Because sometimes when I'm booking the most, it's when my voice is not at its best. And it's probably because it allows a little more humanity and a little less of perfection of enunciation and voice to come out. We're living in a world where we are looking for something authentic. You know, and unfortunately sometimes that authentic is authentically terrible. But we're looking for something real, something we can believe as a society now, as opposed to something that's manufactured and sounds phony. That's not what we want to hear. That's not what we connect to right now. It's going to change. It'll be something else, morphing into something else, who knows what. But right now, be authentic. And if authentic is a little damaged, that's okay. Think about the number of movies, television shows, home videos we've seen where, you know, things are off on the picture a little bit out of focus here, not quite clear there. There's a sun flare coming in. The lighting's not quite right. And yet we still accept it because the feeling comes through the film. Of course, we never accept it if the sound is bad. Keep that in mind. I took your one-day VME. A lot of great insight. Thank you, Aaron. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you got something out of it. Oh, Linda, you're so sweet. Megan Sullivan. Hi, Dave. Great advice as always. Haven't seen you, Meg. How are things up there in North Cali? And hey, yaha. Thank you so much, Dave. See you soon. What time? Oh, 6:49. David Harvey, what's going on, man? Michael Glover, got to run now. Get back to me when you can. Have work to do. Yeah, me too. See you next month. I'm preparing audition materials, and a question was reinforced by your talk so far. As an actor, how much information on a character would be expected for answering all these questions about them? How much would be the perfect amount, and where does it approach too much information? Sometimes you get too much information. I've seen audition sides for a character, and you've got like 3-4 small type paragraphs on who this character is and where they're from and what they did and who they did it to and moved here and then there and this happened and they're this and this and this. And I mean, it can be a lot, and then 5 lines of dialogue. And you're like, whoa. What you have to pick out is what's most important. Unfortunately, often they've given you a lot of buttons for a character, but none of those buttons seem to be pushed in the lines that they give you. You have to find a way to not just say the lines kind of in the voice of this character, but display what this character is going to sound like: happy, sad, mad, fearful. Sometimes the lines don't seem to lean into that, but you want to show as many sides of this character as you can within those lines. Yeah, there can be too much information. Decide for yourself what is the thing you really want to display. And understand that, as human beings, we all are very complicated, and we're all hiding some things. None of us want to wear our fears on our sleeve or our prejudices or whatever. So play the person as you think he would show up, not just trying to play all the emotions he has on the inside that he's probably trying to hide. That would be my suggestion, if that makes sense. Made sense to me. I hope it made sense to you. Reach for the words. Yeah, there you go, Conchita. How does one silence that critical voice in your head aside from medication? What tricks can you offer? One, no matter what you do, there is an inner dialogue going on. I'm in classes, I'll talk about, the guy on the date with the girl, and he's taking her out, and they're at dinner, and he's saying, yeah, well, I hope you like this. I heard you like fish, so blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, he's going, damn, she is looking good. I hope I get some tonight. That's inner dialogue. And too often our inner dialogue is our judging voice, judging us, questioning us, and trying to make sure that we're doing it right. And what I try to do is get out of my own inner voice and get into the inner voice of the character I'm playing, even when the character I'm playing is me. Say you're doing a commercial and you really are kind of being yourself. Get out of the inner voice of I'm a guy doing a commercial and be into the inner voice of I'm a person telling you about this product, and I'm wondering how you're feeling about it, and I'm having reactions to who you are and what the story is, as opposed to, gosh, I'm saying these words and I hope I'm saying them right. Does that make sense? Hope so. Conchita, let's see. What have you... you have that critical voice in your head also. You sound so confident. Oh, no, it comes. But I have learned ways to kind of banish it. And part of that comes, I think, with doing it for a long time, and building on success has given you the message that you can do this and that it's going to be okay. And I have learned that when I am not that careful, when I am not that, when I'm not trying to reach perfection, I'm trying to reach communication. I'm trying to touch here and here. That's when it works. When I'm less worried about, oh, I've got to say this just this way. I just have to go up on this. I have to go to this. because we're not that controlled when we're actually talking to people. We let our condition, our emotions, our thoughts carry the words, and we need to do the same thing when we're doing voiceover, as opposed to, oh, I'm going to say this word this way, and I'm going to say this word this way. What we're trying to do when we do that is get to a natural thing through a technical means. And a lot of times when I'm teaching, I'll talk, well, there's the organic and there's the technical. And sometimes we want to learn some technical things that help us get to the organic. But we're always trying to get to the organic. All right. You still shine bright as a voice artist in games, shows, movies. Oh, thanks, man, Mark. I appreciate your kind words. It takes practice to perfect and project your voice for characters. It does. It's an act, my sister, an act. That was conversation between a couple of you guys. That wasn't me. DK Voices, is there a total number of demos to go on your demo? I heard 6 at 10 seconds, then no set number as long as it remains at 60. What's your take? Okay. If somebody says no set number as long as it remains at 60 seconds, then you could have, 61 second. I'm just taking it to the point of ridiculous. No, you don't want to have 6 things that are 10 seconds long. It would be too stilted, another 10 seconds, another 10 seconds. It might be, I always say like 8 to 14 things on there. Some might be longer, some are going to be shorter. Sometimes it might be just 3 or 4 words, the tag of something. When we get into video game demos, usually I'm looking at those going to about 1:30. 60 is okay, but I think most people end up going a little longer. You're telling a little more story. You're sharing a wider variety of characters or kinds of characters. And I think the people who are listening to them are a little more forgiving of 30 more seconds with a video game demo than a commercial demo. And you can try to put too much on, in which case they're too short. And, if you're doing 2-3 seconds of each, the person listening doesn't have a chance to really grab a hold of what that character is before it's gone. By the same token, if you're taking things out 12-15 seconds, you can have somebody bored with that character. What I try to do is tell one quick little story. It has a beginning, middle, and end of everything that would go on a demo. That we get a sense of who the character is, and there's a little story that happens. And we know from those old Vine videos that are no longer there, you can tell a story in 6 seconds. So no hard, fast rule on the number. It's going to be like 8 to 14, 6 to 12. All of that works. But think more about the content as opposed to how many I'm going to put here, and each one's going to be this long. Okay? Okay. Hey, Randy Morrison, what's up? Ella, how are you? Adela? What do you do if the character you're playing doesn't have an inner voice of their own for you to try to get into because they're an AI? Well, and you play it, it's soulless. You play it as the AI, as a soulless AI. AIs don't care. And you're playing that character that doesn't care. You're playing that character that doesn't breathe. That character that is not that affected. We do have AIs that are affected, especially as they get smarter. If you're thinking about C-3PO. C-3PO cared. But it's still a different kind of caring than we as human beings. Michael, what's your home studio microphone recommendations? There's a lot of good mics out there. I would go with the tried and true. Like I'd mentioned before, most of the time I've got a 416 hanging in there. If it's not the 416, it's more likely to be the TLM 103. But I have some other really good mics. If you're on a budget and you want a really nice mic, that AKG 214 is a real sweet mic. SE 2200A. A lot of people don't know about SE. Really good mic. There's a bunch of them out there. If you can spend the money and get a 416 or a TLM 103, you'll be happy the rest of your career. With your mic, anyway. Good to see you, Galena. Pamela, what's going on? Ooh, I like that. They listen to the critical voice and the character instead of your own. Thanks, sir. You are welcome. Well, listen, it's 7 o'clock, and I only do this for an hour. I got stuff to do and a grandson to hang out with. So thank you so much for stopping by. Talking to you gives me an opportunity to, whirl it around in my mind. I enjoy it. It's a really wonderful way for me to continue to be a part of the voiceover community when we are so hermetized in our home studios. And I think we all need to try to get out there and hang with each other more, if only like this. In the meantime and in between time, Dave Fennoy here. If you want to do some private lessons, go to davefennoy.com. You can hit the Study VO button and book yourself, and we'll get you going. Until next time, which is next Wednesday, same time, I'll see you. All the best.